first of all. Also, thank you to, I know they're not here, but it's nice that we thank people like the school board, the janitorial staff, who sets everything up for us all the time. I have to thank Ray, so if you see Ray, let her know that we appreciate the fact that she helped me with a lot of the certificates. I do some of myself, but she does a lot of them as well. She makes sure I get all my little gold bars and basketballs and all that kind of stuff. And if anything is misspelled, do not be embarrassed, do not be upset. Just come and tell me, tap me on the shoulder, say, hey, I want a different one because I'd like to put that in my book for my senior year or whatever. We'll make sure that it gets fixed. It doesn't cost us all that much to just go retype it. Thank you to Deanna, who runs our concessions. Obviously, as part of the boosters. She's around all the time, does a lot for us. Parents, obviously, some of you have to get your kids to and from practice. You come to a lot of games, you allow your kids to play. Those are things that we appreciate as coaches. We couldn't have a basketball team if we didn't have them. And we've had a lot of girls that came out this year, many of them for the first time, and that's great. And we like to see that, and we like to see that continue happening. Again, people that aren't here, but the little kids coaches, a lot of these girls started playing in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. Some of them didn't play till junior high, but even our junior high coaches, we thank them all the time. Or we give them extra work when they come to high school practices for season over, which was something new this year. And then Miss Wade, our athletic director. Also, I'd like to thank our manager and our filmer, Coach Ev. That's right. Also, like to thank Coach Lawley, who, for those of you who don't know, he's been volunteering now for 8 years, 9 years, long time. He's been volunteering, helping us out. He does the junior high program, but also helps out the high school when he can, and we truly appreciate that. Never complains, he's there when he can be. He works a lot, and junior high season takes a toll on him, but he's there when he can. Coach Parsons, who has been with me for 5 years. Maybe he's got 5 more in him, maybe he doesn't. Maybe this is it. I don't know. He tells me every year this is his last year. So I'm not going to say that this is his last year until I know if it's his last year or not. But I appreciate him, and from day one that we worked together, I always told him, and I know some of you heard me say this before, I told him I didn't want to be a yes man. He's definitely not a yes man. And it's good when your coaches don't always agree on the way things you know, because it gives you a different perspective. And I appreciate that of him, and I thank him for always being there and helping us. And hopefully we can talk him into one more year or 2 or 3 or 5. Also, the girls, as I said, reflected the last week or so and thought about the team. And I'm going to go back to something I said early in the season. This is the most coachable group of girls I've ever had. It didn't matter what we tried to do, some of it crazy, some of it not. They would be strong. And that's something that as a coach, when you have people that are coachable, you may not always get the result you think you're going to get. But you get a group of people who are all pulling the rope in the same direction. And that, I truly feel this team was a team that tried to do that, and tried to do the right thing to be coachable as much as any team I've ever had, in any sport I've ever coached. And I told them that pretty early in the season. And I met them and I mean that. I think my wife and my family, I'm not home very much during basketball season. I'm not home much actually all year long. My daughter was born in April, when I was coaching baseball. And unfortunately for her, Dad wasn't home for baseball season, and then football season came, and then basketball season, so you get the idea. She didn't know who I was for like 18 months, but I thank them for that because I couldn't do what I love if they didn't allow me to do that. Thank goodness that they're a part of that most of the time. I'm sure I forgot a lot of other people, but that's kind of my short list that I have to make sure I thank them because I truly appreciate everything they do for us. What started last summer, I think some of you know, maybe come to our scrimmages there in the summer we've been on Sunday. Our team took on a completely different look from June or July till what we ended up with in October, November when we started basketball. We had a lot of position changes. I had that. We have a lot of position changes. We had a lot of lot of moving parts, and that's not just this year. Ask Lindsay what position she played when she played JV as a freshman. She was our point guard. Sarah played point guard for us some this year. Jason played point guard for us some this year. Tatum played point guard for us some this year. So we've had a lot of moving parts at times with our team, and that's okay. The younger girls, that's only going to make them hopefully better in the future. We had great attendance this summer. Probably the greatest attendance we've had in my 5 years as head coach, and I would go as far to say it's the 18 years that I've been associated with girls basketball. We averaged 12 girls a day, and we ended up starting the season with 15. So that's a pretty good percentage of kids that showed up at least once or twice a week to get better in the summer. And again, that's much appreciated. Sometimes they didn't see all 12 because we had multiple session times where some people had to come in because they had to work and I come in early. But on a daily basis, we averaged 12. So that's a pretty good number. These girls also helped put on the first ever girls free youth basketball program this summer. When I had 3 to 4 girls volunteer every single day for 4 or 5 days that we came in and had young girls here. I think we had 3rd grade or 4th grade through 8th grade sessions, and it couldn't happen without these girls. And the whole point behind that was to try to get more kids involved in basketball early in the summer, keep them coming back. Don't put a dollar amount on it. Let's hope it pays off for us later without any dollars. Let's let it be them play basketball. Hopefully they enjoy it. From this summer until now, or district, or regional team, I should say, I saw tremendous growth. I think a couple girls panicked this summer, weren't sure what was going to happen. But I think if you look at it now, again, we finished the season 10 and 11. We had a couple pretty good wins along the way, especially the game of Holy Trinity, probably the best game we played all year long. Well balanced, no matter who we put on the floor, they seamlessly fit in. Things went really well that night. I think if you look at the grand scheme of things, as a team, we competed every night, played hard every night, we got better every night. Maybe we didn't get the result we wanted. We take the first half at Minneapolis. That's one of the best first halves of basketball we played all year long. Very proud of it. And I told them 100 times that I felt like that half was the best half that we played all year. Our best complete game, probably the whole trip. That game at Minneapolis at the end of the year, we put a lot of it. Just a few things about the team. Obviously, 10 and 11, finished 6th in the conference. A lot of that had to do with the fact that some teams lost down the stretch, and I didn't think we were going to lose. We would have finished 4th. He came back strong and got 3 straight wins against teams that jumped over us, but pushed those 2 down as well. And then Highland getting us that last time kind of put us down. We were in 4th all year until the last week. We finished with the 4th most 3-pointers made in school history, which is pretty typical of their offense. We're going to have a few 3-pointers that are going to be shot. But this is something I'm proud of. The 3rd least turnovers that we've ever had in the 18 years I've been here. So that says a lot because in 2005, 2006, 2007, we were 22-2. And they had more turnovers that year than we did as a team this year. So that's something we're pretty proud of. I think if you looked at a lot of our games, there were, in the end of the first quarter, I said, girls, we got 9 turnovers. JC, do you know what our goal is? 15 or less. There were a lot of those games we might have 9 in the first quarter, we didn't finish with 15. We fell below that number. So the next 3 quarters, they said, okay, we got to take care of the ball. But that's our goal, every game 15 or less. And we accomplished that goal a lot this year. And that's something as a coach, that's what you need to have. We had the least fouls committed in school history. Don't tell that to the wind. But as far as our records go back that I have, we committed the least fouls in school history. It was not high. I mean, it was probably 20 less. Quinn probably set the record for most individual fouls. I don't have that. But very, very plausible. Chad. So good job, man. So this year, I tried something different, and this gets our awards here. I tried to create a new program, which I call the Future Aero program. I'll probably call it 7 different names, but that's what I've landed on. And I felt like it was pretty successful this year. And what we did with that was, we had enough girls to practice. And we had enough girls to practice 5-on-5. What we didn't have enough girls to practice was when we did drills or we're doing 5-on-5 up and down the court, we can't keep the same 10 or 11 girls running up and down the court. You have to be able to make some changes. What we got was, or I came up with the idea that maybe we should bring some of the junior high up so that we could have a third team at practice. So like 2 teams are practicing against each other up and down the floor. 1 team can take a break. And I would say that my opinion is that it was pretty successful. I don't mean just for the junior high girls coming up, for them to have an opportunity to play more. But if you looked at our record of our JV and the way they played their games from the time the junior high came up and played with practice to from the beginning of the year to that point on, our JV made a lot of progress because they now had somebody to practice with. They had somebody to push them up and down the floor. And it was more, what I would say, more of a balanced and competitive practice. And yeah, sometimes we put junior high girls on the floor with the varsity girls and let them run a little bit. But most of the time we tried to keep it with the JV and the junior high girls separate. They were going up and down the floor. I feel like that was pretty good for the JV girls, and it showed, I think, in the way they played. But it also, I saw tremendous growth out of the 5 junior high girls that came up. I would have loved to have just told all the junior high to come. But if you end up with 25 extra girls in practice, that's not going to be conducive for getting better for everybody. So we just made sure that we plucked them, we brought them up and said, here we go. So I'd like to recognize those 5 individuals tonight. And I know they're not all here, but we'd like to have them come up here. And anybody that get an award today, we're going to do them in sections. So, for example, the 8th graders come up, I want them to stand over here. Chad will give them a certificate. I want them to stand over here, and we're going to get a picture of them. She's going to get a picture of them. And that way we put that out on Facebook or whatever else. But we're going to have to stand over here. Inside each packet, so inside each packet is going to be a Wapello High School girls record book. So some of you might have sisters or cousins or family members or just people you know that came before you. I've done as much as I can with this help from as many coaches that have been here as I can to kind of compile a list of certain records. Please feel free to take them and look through them and scrutinize them. And if you find something else that is missing, let me know. But I think that those are important because for some people, just having a goal is one thing, but having a goal to reach a different bar, a different level in the history of a program gives us something to go for. Sometimes we reach those goals, sometimes they don't, but ultimately, if you're willing to put the effort in, you're going to give yourself a chance. And I will tell you that if everybody keeps doing the things that we're doing right now, within the next couple of years, there will be a few records that are broken. I can already tell you just by where they stand right now. You kind of figure those things out as you go through there. When they break a record, if it's a points record, a rebound record, a steal record, or an assist record, they get a new basketball with a picture on it and everything. If it's a minor record, they get a smaller ball, but it still has those, it's the same thing, it's got the picture on it, it's got whatever record it is, and so on and so forth. So we do have one of those on the way, it's not here tonight. I can't wait on those because sometimes they take a week, sometimes they take 3 months, and the way shipping is right now, it might not be here until July. Hopefully it's here in a week or two, and I can share that out. First 8th grader, Kenneth Small. Annika Griner. Macy Griffin. Yeah, what's their name anyway? Macy Coombs. Alexis Brown. Maya Wagner. ninth graders, again, all of you stand right here. Just going to get a picture of the entire high school team that's here tonight. So don't get it, run back with your classes, stay up here no matter what. All of them together. Stay there. Ninth grade, Rachel Boyd. Madison Beck. Sarah McDowell that's not here tonight. You know what? 10th grade, Claire Anderson. Seniors, Evelyn Peck. She is what I call her other manager, sometimes filmer. She's another coach on the floor. She did say she was not for basketball this year. I didn't think it was for real. She came to one open gym, I think it was this summer, and then told me she changed her mind. And then she decided she wanted to be a point guard. It didn't happen, but what I am happy with is that she stuck with us and she was at the games and she filmed for us when she could. She was our manager, part-time coach, and I appreciate that. And she always made me laugh a little bit, so I can't complain about that at all. Sometimes as a coach, it's nice to have some humor around. Stay there. The next one, Sarah Schaefer. Sarah finished her career with 3 double-doubles, 455 points, 301 rebounds, 99 assists, 194 steals, 8 blocks, and I'd say probably 2,000 floor burners. Probably the hardest defensive player I've ever seen at the high school level. Probably one of the most athletic girls I've ever had to coach at the high school level. And we're going to miss tremendously her leadership. And I tell you what, and I said this a lot this year, and it's not to point fingers at people or anything, and I'm not trying to embarrass Sarah at all. But Quinn will tell you, a lot of times this year in the locker room, I probably made them uncomfortable because I told everybody else I wanted them to reach the same level of effort that I saw from them on a daily basis. And it's not because nobody else is playing to their level, of their own personal level, but their personal level is a little bit higher when it comes to energy. Okay, sometimes that results in steals, sometimes fouls, but that level of energy is just a little bit higher. And as a coach, you really, seriously, that is a hard thing to get, and we truly appreciate that. The last one is, last senior is Lindsay Masterson. Lindsay Masterson will finish her career with 11 double-doubles, which is a school record that she tied with her sister Erica Master. I think if you look at the record book, you're going to notice something. There's a couple times in there you're going to see Lindsay. There's a lot of times in there you're going to see Erica. And there's a couple times in there you're going to see Holly. And I've been fortunate enough, either as an assistant coach or head coach, to coach all of them. And they all had vastly different skill sets on the basketball court. And I think when you look at the record book, you'll recognize that. And it's going to be impossible for me as a coach, probably, to find a way to coach without a master on the floor or on the deal because I had one since a long time. And so I truly, it's hard to say goodbye to seniors, but I truly believe that these two have been a perfect example of leaders, captains, whatever else you want to say. And their names may not fall at the top of every category in the book where they want it, but in the top of my mind as a basketball coach, I'm very appreciative that I got the opportunity. That's your seniors. And so my captains will tell you that, some of you might know the book, The Energy Bus. And I know it well enough that one day when I was being an energy vampire, if you read the book, you know what that is. Lindsay did tell me I was being an energy vampire. Here's the thing though, this is why I like that kids read it, because she was absolutely right. And sometimes you read a book that kind of, I don't read them. But if I read a book and I'm like, man, this thing's changed my life a little bit, and somebody else has read it and they can say something like that, it makes you take a step back and realize that sometimes there's more important things than just a win or things going right in practice or whatever. But Lindsay took a liking to the book so much that I think she wrote 27 pages of notes, which is almost half the book. But I gave her a copy, but I felt like as a captain, I made them read it, but I wasn't going to give Sarah much of a choice. She also has to take a copy this year, so this is her copy. And it also has energy on the front, which you have plenty of. All conference awards. I asked that even though you're going to know who all conference people are tonight, please do not post anything on Facebook. Please do not do anything on Twitter. Please do not call your friends. Please do not call Uncle Joe, Uncle Bob, Aunt Betty, whoever it is, don't tell them. Because our conference does not release all conference awards until the last team in our conference is either lost or reaches the state tournament. And so every year I have to give the same speech that it's nice to know now, you're going to know before the rest of the community. But just don't tell the rest of the community until it comes out Tuesday. So sometimes, and it's a really weird thing, the way basketball's done is different than any other sport that I'm aware of. We do all regional and all district online. It's two separate groups. You go to all conference. You do your all conference after you've already voted for all district, which makes absolutely zero sense. And coaches vote and put names up and they vote for it, which that works normally. It doesn't always fall where you think it should. And sometimes you might look at, I'm going to give you an example. You might look at a kid from Highland that gets second team honorable mention, first team something, whatever, and then they're on the all district team. It may be an all state. And you also have to remember that your district is made up of different teams than your conference, and your region is made up of different teams than that. So it all is a mix of different teams. And when you go to all conference, the only stats you use for all conference is only your stats for conference. So if you have a 40-point game against Holy Trinity, those stats do not count when you go to the all conference. That counts for your all district or all regional, but not for your all conference. Anyway, it's just a little bit different, and I don't necessarily like the way, the situation that we do it, but I haven't been doing it as long as those other guys for 30 or 40 years, so they get to choose what they want to do. So we'll start with their all conference awards. Honorable mention, Quinn Beach. Honorable mention, Sarah Schaefer. Second team, Tatum Wolford. I do have to say a little bit about Tatum. Obviously, you guys all know she wrestled. And she did a great job at everything she did this year and balanced it probably way better than I would have thought. Probably the most impressive thing I saw all year. You guys know she was at a wrestling tournament, men's and girls on a Saturday morning. Got in the car, came back to the Northeast News Lake, lit them up for 18 or 20. It was sick as a dog. right? I think he's going to miss school the next Monday, and that's a pretty impressive feat. And tremendous athlete, tremendous person, and I think we should give her a round of applause. Finally, the first team all-conference, Lindsay Masterson. All district and all regional awards, usually we know them by now. We voted for them last week. I don't know why they're not out yet, but hopefully in the next couple of days those will arrive. Probably tonight, to be honest with you, or tomorrow afternoon, because people are going to punch their tickets tonight, the remaining teams in our level, in our group, and class. So hopefully, within the next couple of days, sometimes, like I said, sometimes we get it by this time, sometimes we don't. There is an all-star game that is played at Notre Dame. It's a lot of fun. I like to say you can see a lot of seniors play some of them for their final basketball game they'll ever play. We'll get to do that. Some of them will have an opportunity. When I say some, they probably will both have the opportunity, and I hope they choose to do so. We'll know when they select that team here in the next couple of weeks. That's not an everybody gets in thing, but usually the best players in the area do, and I firmly believe that they'll get an opportunity. Not the last bit of awards, I should say, but the team awards is something that I started years ago in everything I coach. There's some awards we do at meetings and online and so on and so forth, where people get awards from that. And I used to vote for a lot of awards myself with my coaching staff, but I think the most prestigious award you get is the award that your teammates give. And so a few years ago, I'd say longer than a few years ago, I made the decision that it was time that the team started voting for awards, and I've always felt very comfortable with how those planned. And so we have 7 to 8 awards. Sometimes we have an 8th award, sometimes we don't, but we have 7 awards that they choose from, or they pick people for, and they vote independently. And so hopefully Lindsay doesn't know how Sarah voted, doesn't know how JC votes, and so on and so forth. And the results are pretty unanimous almost every year. So the first award that we have is the Newcomer Award. Now, this is usually someone who's new to the varsity basketball team. They might have played JV last year, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes you can be a newcomer 2 or 3 years in a row because you're getting increased time. Or maybe you played a little bit last year and people thought, you know what, that person's a newcomer. They're new to the varsity team. This year you have a bigger role. The Newcomer Award this year is going to be JC Hoyt. The second award, and she's not here tonight, unfortunately, because I think I would have loved to tell her that this was if it wasn't unanimous, it was darn near unanimous. The Tomahawk Award, the award I created 18 years ago for the baseball team when I become head coach of the girls team. I brought that with me as well because I consider that a spirit award, the person who kind of always has a positive attitude and tries their hardest and so on and so forth. And the person that the team selected was Alexis Thompson. Most improved, and I can agree with this award. This summer, I saw tremendous growth from this individual. Some of the biggest growth I've seen of a basketball player in a long time. And I think she can do the same leaps and bounds type of improvement again with another summer workout. And that's when we explosively. I don't know why you can count on the ballots for this one. When I say unanimous, I think it would have been unanimous if we asked the crowd, if we asked another team or another coach, or defensive player of the year, Sarah Schaefer. Offensive player of the year, Tatum Wolford. And selected as team most valuable player, Lindsay Masterson. teammates is probably the most prestigious award that you can achieve. And I take the position very seriously. As unfortunately for you, when you know where you are, or doing, whether or not you have an open gym or whatever, captains always get the first call. And it's probably not the easiest job to have. Then you have coaches that will remind you 100 times, and probably parents and teammates are going to remind you that you're an example for the team, that you can count on you. But the 2021-2022 selected captains for 2022-2023 will be Tatum Wolford and Quinn Beach. There's just a couple more awards, but first I want to just go through a couple individual accomplishments. Some of these are seasons, some of them are career. Lindsay Masterson, as I said, will tie the most double doubles with 11. Lindsay Masterson also broke the record last year for most blocks in a game with 7. She tied Rachel Bates with 7. The difference between Lindsay and Rachel Bates is Rachel Bates was about 6 inches taller. Lindsay also will finish with the second most rebounds in school history. We also saw the highest free throw percentage in a season get broken this year at 87.9% by Tatum Wolford. She broke her own record, which was like 78%. We'll also have Tatum Wolford with the third highest shooting percentage from beyond the arc, behind the three-point line, at 37%. She actually had that one broke all the way up until the end. Just fell right behind, just not too much. I mean, hit 2 more, she's got the school record. So I certainly believe that that one can happen at some point. The IBCA Academic All-District team will have 2 honored with that, with Sarah Schaefer and Lindsay Masterson. Last but not least, we have an award in Iowa called the Wayne Cooley Award. It's called the You Can Award. It's awarded to someone who is trustworthy, shows respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. For us, it is also someone who has vastly improved on the court, has faced numerous challenges, and not once complained. And I truly mean that. In my opinion, it's a true example of character. And that individual this year is Tori Walker. With that selection, Tori is also will be thrown into the pool of everyone else that's selected in the state of Iowa, and they'll select one person from the state tournament to receive the big plaque and be the winner of the full-blown Wayne Cooley Award, but certainly an honor that I think she deserves. I'm done with the awards. Anybody have anything else, guys? Good. Checking was not fun. I didn't tell them. This one's yours. Yeah, you got a varsity letter pass. Everybody got a pass. That's it. I encourage you to take some